as a byproduct of being born into this capitalist society that thrives on money, greed, and Robux. I no longer have the mental capacity to think of more than like 3 things a day. So if we were to open up my mind, my thoughts would be divided up sort of like this. 25% TikTok trends, 15% hating, 10% fine dining and breathing, and the rest, that's just dedicated to good old-fashioned commercialization. Yep, not my dreams or aspirations, just whatever corporate America has told me to think. And I really can't act surprised by this. I mean, we've basically been advertised to from the moment we were born. I mean, I know I popped out of the womb begging for a Happy Meal and a fushigi ball. A fushigi ball that I never got. Do those things work? Fushigi! Look, I'll be the first to say that good advertising has earned its spot in society. I mean, if you're able to take a slogan and turn it into a line that's as identifiable as the brand itself, then good job. Now, let's take a look at some of the most infamously unforgettable slogans throughout history. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. It's a little bit shady, it's a little bit disrespectful, but it is iconic. Red Bull gives you wings? If it gives you wings, that's just Coke in a can. Damn! Taco Bell, think outside the bun. Now think of the linguistic implications of that statement. They were so real for that because tacos aren't burgers. You know? There is one unique slogan that defined popular culture for perhaps decades. A slogan that has always managed to stand out from the rest. And that slogan was about milk. For those of you who happen to be cryogenically frozen for a few decades or who are just woefully unaware, the Got Milk campaign was a campaign in the 90s and early 2000s advocating for Americans to drink more milk. Yep, that's it. Just, they wanted us to drink a lot of milk. And I really hadn't thought about these ads since I was a wee little child back in the day, but the other day I was in the grocery store looking for my organic milk substitute, and as I walked past the dairy section, I had a sort of reverse That's a Raven flashback to the Got Milk ads because they were everywhere. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I don't think it was ever advertising a particular brand of milk. It was just milk as a concept. And that don't sit right with me. If you're gonna advertise to me, at least put your name on it. What did Big Dairy want? Something very dark-sided and very sinister must have been going on, and I'm here to get to the bottom of it. Consider this my expose on the Got Milk campaign. Let's get to the bottom of this. Why don't we just type in Got Milk? Be the realest city in California. So it seems that the Got Milk campaign is very much still a thing, but just only in California. Probably too many influencers were breaking their bones doing TikTok dances, and California was like, enough! Enough! Y'all are gonna drink your milk! Y'all are gonna get strength in your bones! Enough of this! That's probably what happened. What else they got? Huh? California's milk processors are held to the highest standards in the nation? So what the hell am I drinking? Are our standards just subpar? I'm very confused. Let's dig deeper. Cut the cameras. Is that Kevin from The Office? Hold on. I gotta go buy a gallon of milk right now. Right now. Got milk? Learn more. Is it just in Spanish? Oh my god. It seems that this has left me with more questions than answers. Big Dairy, why don't you want me to know the truth? What are you hiding? You can change the language of your internet pages all you want. I will find out the answers. We have Google Translate. Don't you forget that. So it's time to go down the rabbit hole and find the truth. Hello there. I'm back, I'm well read, and I'm ready to share my information with the world. In accordance with some of the world's most renowned historians, as well as the public education system, I will be dividing my research into two distinct eras. BGM, for before got milk, and AGM, for after got milk. So boom, it's the BGM era. Prior to the mid-20th century in America, there was never really a push to entice people to drink more milk. However, this started to change when pasteurization tech and refrigeration started to become widely available to the masses. Once this happened, dairy farmers lost their minds and they produced so much milk. They saw those cows grazing and they said, let's get to work. They just wouldn't stop milking the cows. They milked so many cows, in fact, that by the 1940s, America was experiencing a surplus of milk. So you want to know what happens now? The government gets involved. Around the same time in history, there was this little known event happening called World War II. And the US government was like, oh my gosh, we have to keep turning away potential soldiers because they're malnourished and can't fight. But they wouldn't be malnourished if they drank milk. The Department of Agriculture then released a pamphlet in 1942 that called milk a victory food that could be used to combat malnourishment in soldiers and children. Over the years, the US government kept taking that milk and putting it into government-sponsored programs, such as the government cheese program. I mean, who doesn't love a little government cheese?
One block of government cheese. Y'all got butter too? If you don't get out of my line.
Then, in 1954, the infamous school milk program was introduced, which put milk in school lunches of public school children for many, many, many years to come. Please listen to me. I believe that the school milk program is an act of war against school-aged children everywhere. There is no reason why we have our kids drinking a full carton of milk to wash down their chicken patty at lunchtime. I mean, just think about it. The flavor profiles don't even go together. It doesn't make sense. Your kids are not bad. They are misbehaving because their stomach is doing cartwheels. Their guts are bubbling. And that is what Big Dairy doesn't want you to know. I think I've said too much. Anyways, it's the 1980s now, which means Mr. Ronald Reagan himself is the president.
What?
Under his leadership, Americans began to become interested in the free market, which believed that the government should have very minimal interference. Because of this, checkoff programs were introduced which allowed dairy farmers to pool their money together, which could then be used to advertise the dairy industry. This would all lay the foundation to allow the Got Milk campaign to eventually come to fruition. Around the same time in the 1980s, America began to experience a sudden increase in the sale of sugary drinks and sodas, and the big wigs up top, they simply could not stand for this. And listen, I'm no scientist, and I wasn't there. This is all speculation. But I think that sugary drinks and sodas were selling more because they taste better than milk does. But I'm no scientist. Much of the early advertising in favor of milk at this time focused on the health benefits that milk can have.
Milk. It does a body good.
However, it didn't really do a lot to change milk sales at the time. Which makes sense to me because, sure, milk can help me grow big and strong, but Snapple tastes really good and it has a little fun fact on the lid. Your move, milk. Boom. It's the AGM era. Now, there once was a man called Jeff Manning, and he was the executive director of the California Milk Processor Board. What? You don't know what the California Milk Processor Board is? Well, I still don't really get it. Their wiki page literally has just like one sentence. I guess I really don't understand what California's obsession with milk is back then and to this day. Just know that it's funded by the California Department of Agriculture and it's probably a government conspiracy co-signed by the Illuminati and the Kardashians. Anyways, Jeff Manning, aka the government, was sick and tired of these dwindling milk prices and he wanted to put a stop to it. So he decided to hire ad agency Goodby Silverstein and Partners to bring milk into the new hip age, to make it cool for the youngsters of the time. A little fun fact, the phrase got milk itself was randomly jotted down at one of the meetings and almost never made it into the public's consciousness. The creatives at Goodby Silverstein and Partners thought the phrase was lazy and not even grammatically correct, which, let's be real, is grammar even real? Because I could use incorrect grammar and you could still understand me perfectly. So what's the truth? I do think ultimately that is the genius behind the slogan. Clearly the earlier attempts to advertise milk using science didn't really work well. Drink more milk now or else you won't get your daily dose of calcium, phosphorus, vitamin D, and proteins. Even though milk is 87% water. Is that better? No. I just don't think that one has the same ring to it. I have a secret power. I have the gift of hindsight, and I can tell you that they did end up choosing Got Milk, and it was an immediate hit. The first TV ad for the Got Milk campaign aired on October 29th, 1993, and it was entitled, "Who Shot Alexander Hamilton?" You know, the guy from that Broadway show? Alexander Hamilton! And as I was doing my research, I discovered that this commercial was actually directed by a young Michael Bay. You know, famous film director Michael Bay. And I think historical butterfly effects are so cool. It's very interesting to know that the government's obsession with getting people to drink milk and get rid of their milk surplus is directly responsible for Michael Bay creating one of the best and most profitable action movies of the 21st century. Ambulance. You know Ambulance? No one saw Ambulance? It's pretty good. Forget Transformers, go see Ambulance. In all seriousness, it is a pretty good commercial. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but definitely check this out.
And now let's make that random call with today's $10,000 question. It's a tough one. Who shot Alexander Hamilton? All right, let's go to the phones and see who's out there.
I'm afraid your time is almost up.
Even watching it now, I'm like, damn. This doesn't necessarily make me want to drink a glass of milk because I think that's weird and only psychopaths do that at their leisure. But I at least thought about it. What was to follow was a series of ads featuring celebrities and pop culture icons from all walks of life, coming together daunting the signature milk mustache that became synonymous with the campaign, asking Americans everywhere the question, got milk? Which once again is a little bit odd because it's not a particular brand of milk. Saying drink my milk product is just milk as a concept, and that is very strange to me still. But eventually the TV commercials stopped coming, but the posters and pictures lasted forever. I think we should take a look at some of the most popular Got Milk ads from that time. Let's take a look. As you can see for this part of the video, I had a quick costume change. I put on a shirt with a collar, and I have my glasses on. Because I mean business. I'm here to judge. I'm here to examine. I'm here to investigate all of the Got Milk posters. Okay, not all of them, there's a lot. But like some of the posters from the very famous Got Milk Milk Mustache poster campaign. Let's get into it. Got Milk? Now before I can show you guys any of the posters for the milk campaign, I figured I should give you some background as to how this poster campaign even became to be. We have to start at the beginning. I spent hours on this PowerPoint. The year was 1995, and the Milk Processor Education Program, also known as Milk Pep for short, decided it was time to throw their hat in the ring, get some skin in the game, and try to develop their own messaging about milk that they could spread across America. So they decided to hire ad agency Bozell to see if they could cook up any other ways to bring milk into the modern consciousness. What Bozell was able to come up with was the nationwide Milk Mustache campaign, which swept across America and infiltrated school cafeterias everywhere. With this campaign, we would see various celebrities, also known as famous people and cartoons. We have fun here. These famous and recognizable characters and personalities would daunt a signature milk mustache above their upper lip, giving off the impression that they had just enjoyed a hearty glass of milk filled to the brim that they just needed to get them through the day. In addition to just having the notable character on the poster, it was usually accompanied with some small text that had said something relating to milk and that character's personality as the general public knew it. Honestly, I don't think most people really read the fine print of what the posters were saying because the text was really, really small. But for today's purposes, reading is fundamental. The first poster for the Got Milk Milk Mustache campaign featured none other than the immensely popular Naomi Campbell. But if you notice, there's one thing that's different in this poster that much of the other Got Milk posters that followed do not have. And that's the fact that there is no Got Milk phrasing. Nowhere on this poster does it say Got Milk. Instead, it says milk. What a surprise. Which I don't really know what's so surprising about going to your fridge, pouring a glass of milk and drinking it, but hey, here we are. The reason for this being that when this poster first came to be, MilkPEP didn't have the licensing to use the very famous Got Milk slogan at the time, so they used milk. What a surprise instead. Now let's take a look at what the text says down here, because it's really small. You're probably gonna hate me, but I've never dieted a day in my life. Being so busy, I usually just grab something real quick, which is why I love milk. 1% low fat. With all the same nutrients as whole milk, it's just what my body needs. Well, that and a closet full of ultra short, super tight little black dresses. What are you talking about? I just find it hard to believe that 90s supermodel Naomi Campbell's secret to looking good is not eating healthy or dieting. It's just drinking 1% low-fat milk so that she could fit into her into her ultra short, super tight little black dresses. I guarantee you, I have no way to prove this. This is pure speculation. But I guarantee you that everybody who's involved with these posters had no idea what they were going to write about them. Let's look at some other examples of some famous Got Milk posters. We also have Jennifer Love Hewitt here, which I didn't even read her thing. It says, what does Jennifer Love hate? Osteoporosis? That's insane. Do you think Jennifer Love Hewitt stays up at night thinking about how much she hates osteoporosis? I thought it would say, what does Jennifer Love hate? I don't know, Mondays? Let's look at this poster of Beyonce and her mom. They look great and all, but let's look at what the text says. Growing up, I always wanted to be just like my mom, so I drank milk. Some studies suggest that women who drink enough milk tend to weigh less and have less body fat than those who don't. So drink 24 ounces of low-fat or fat-free milk every 24 hours as part of a healthy diet, and see for yourself. Who says father knows best? One, I don't think one person in the world has ever said father knows best, because frankly, most of the time, they don't. Two, I think that suggesting that everyone drink 24 ounces of milk every 24 hours, I'm not going to do the math, but that sounds like a lot of milk to drink. It's very interesting how a lot of these Got Milk ads, especially the ones targeting women, were really focused on diet culture and using milk as a sort of hack to get that desired weight. You know what I'm saying? They also had the Backstreet Boys and Lisa and Bart Simpson. But what strikes me about the Backstreet Boys poster is this bottom text down here. It says, 15% of adult height is added during teen years. So we give our growing bones lots of calcium by drinking milk. How do you suppose we reach all those high notes anyway? Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but 15% of adult height is added during teen years. These men do not look like teenagers. They look old as hell. In addition to all these famous celebrities, we also have a lot of famous cartoon characters that also have Got Milk advertisements, such as Lisa and Bart Simpson, as well as Garfield and the Rugrats. Oh, and we can't forget Kermit the Frog. And come on, this man is dripped out. Look at him. I also thought it was important to mention that Miss Piggy, she never had an official Got Milk poster, but she did pose for this wonderful Got Milk parody poster for the 1997 Muppets parody calendar, where she says, cake? No surprise. Why don't I do it for you, Kermit? Well, now that we got that out of the way, I think it's time to make milk hot again. So one of the more interesting strategies that I discovered while looking up a lot of these Got Milk Milk Mustache poster campaigns was that some of them were hot. What I mean by that is that it's very obvious that the Milk Processors Education Board really went with the philosophy that sex sells. It sort of reminds me of that Parks and Rec episode where at the farmer's market, that guy was trying to sell his chard, CHARD, by basically turning his booth into like a strip club.
Chard bodies, get a chard on?
It's the same thing, except this happened in real life. Let's take a look at some of the examples of what I'm talking about. So here we have actress and model Elizabeth Hurley, and then Dennis Rodman here posed basically in the nude trying to sell milk to us. Let's look at what Dennis Rodman's text says. "I'm not the boy next door. I'm the baddest rebounder this game has ever seen. And my body, it's a temple. And milk is the drink of gods. 3 glasses a day gives the average man all the calcium he needs. Maybe I should drink 6. What the are you talking about? Dennis Rodman canonically drinks 6 glasses of milk a day because his body is a temple for the gods, and that's the only way he can be the baddest rebounder in town. Here we have model Gisele Bündchen and David Beckham. And what I find really funny about this poster here is that they didn't even try to put the text in this time. They said, guys, look, this is all we need. No text, no nothing, no distractions. This is enough. But these are just a very small portion of the Got Milk posters that I found during my research. So if you see any better ones or some absolutely insane ones, do let me know. All right. After the dust had settled, after all the TV ads, the meetings, the posters, the milk mustaches, did it work? Did the Got Milk campaign really increase milk sales in America? The answer is no, it didn't. I remember seeing those posters all over when I was a kid, especially in the school lunch line right next to the milk section. I would look up, see this, whoever it was wearing that milk mustache, and think, wow, milk really does help you grow strong bones. And then I walked right past it and picked up my bagged juice at the end of the lunch line and called it a day. I think a lot of people were in the same boat as me. They liked the ads themselves, but it didn't really entice you to drink more milk outside of, drinking cereal or making a cup of hot chocolate. There was a brief period in the 1990s where America experienced a 6% increase in milk sales due to the Got Milk campaign and its ability to make milk seem cool, hip, and edgy. But ultimately, that did not last a long time, and it hasn't really left a lasting mark on the dairy industry as a whole. This is probably due to the sheer number of dairy substitutes available nowadays, like almond milk and oat milk. It's also due to the fact that everyone and their mamas is now lactose intolerant. Not me though. Y'all be easy. A lot of Americans these days are increasingly consuming their dairy through other means by eating things like yogurt and cheeses, but that doesn't mean that Big Dairy is not always watching. This just means that it's shifted its tactics. For example, the government trade organization Dairy Management Inc. had a controversial partnership with Domino's Pizza in which they paid for Domino's advertising in exchange for them putting 40% more cheese on their pizza. A little shady, huh? Just know that Big Dairy is not done with you and they're always watching. Alright, well that's all I have for you all today. Thank you so much for coming down this little rabbit hole with me. I hope it brought back some good memories, and I'll see you next time.